30-second warning. Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Station is ready.
AccuWeather, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Adam Del Rosso with AccuWeather. How do you hear me?
I have you loud and clear.
Wonderful. We are ready to go on our end. Do a little 3, 2, 1 countdown. 3, 2, 1. Joining us all the way from space on board the International Space Station is NASA astronaut Dr. Jessica Watkins. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Super excited.
I'll start with an easy question. This is your first time in space. How is it? What's it been like?
Oh man, space is as awesome as they all said it would be. It has been such a joy to be up here with our Crew 3 colleagues, and then now with my Crew 4 colleagues, Chell Lindgren, Samantha Cristoforetti, and Bob Hines. We're just having a great time working hard and just enjoying the environment.
As the first black woman on an extended ISS mission, what does that accomplishment mean to you?
Yeah, you know, I think that it is an important tribute to the long legacy of black astronauts that have come before me, as well as a testament to the exciting future ahead as we start to look towards the moon and Mars and all of the exciting things that NASA is doing in the future. So I'm just honored to be a small part of that legacy.
Growing up, did you always think about going to space? When did you determine that you wanted to become an astronaut?
Yeah, this has been a dream of mine for a pretty long time. I think I was around the age of 9 or 10 when I first vocalized a dream to be an astronaut one day. Never really thought that it would truly happen, so just so lucky and blessed and honored to be here today.
So this is a 6-month mission that you're on the ISS for. How did you prepare for long-duration space flight, both physically and mentally? What all was entailed in that training?
Yeah, well, you hit the nail on the head that a large part of our training involves the kind of physical aspect. So while we're up here, we exercise every day. We have exercise equipment that allows us to put load on so that we can do weight training, as well as cardio exercises on a treadmill and a bicycle. And that's really important to help us maintain our health, maintain our bone mass while we're in microgravity. The effects of microgravity on the human body can be significant, so we have these countermeasures in place. So part of that training on the ground was to ensure that we're coming in with a good baseline and that we're ready to perform all the tasks that we need to while we're up here. Of course, lots of our other training involves systems and equipment as well. So we learn about the systems of the International Space Station, where we are now, as well as the outside of the space station. So doing extra extravehicular activity training or spacewalk training. In addition to our training on the SpaceX Dragon vehicle, which was the launch vehicle that got us up here and will get us home in 6 months, and also interacting with our international partners. I'm standing here in the Columbus module, which is owned by the European Space Agency, which is the agency that my crewmate Samantha Christopher Reddy is a part of. So it's a really integrated training to get us prepared and ready for this mission.
On Earth, you're a geologist. Is that a part of what you're working on during the 6-month mission?
Yes, it's certainly something I'm really excited about being up here. Being able to see the Earth from the perspective that the ISS offers is just really unique and really a very cool opportunity for a geologist like me. I really enjoy being able to look out at the features and processes that we can see on Earth, and in particular being able to apply those to planetary processes and features. So we can kind of use Earth as an analog or laboratory for what we see on other planets and learn more about those other planets as well as about our own Earth in the process. So I look forward to doing some of that while I'm up here.
You mentioned this a little bit already. Looking ahead, you are a part of the Artemis program that is going to return humans to the moon in 2025. Are you excited about the possibility that you could be the one to walk on the moon in 3 years?
Yes, it's certainly a very exciting prospect that someone in our office, one of my friends, will be walking on the moon in short order here. It is just a super exciting time to be a part of human spaceflight. We have so many things that we're working. Our commercial crew partnerships, as I mentioned, the one that enabled us to get up here on the SpaceX Dragon, as well as the Boeing as well. We'll be having the OFT-2 launch next week, so we're super excited about welcoming OFT-2 on board. And then also thinking about our future ventures, so thinking about Artemis and Artemis 1 here coming up this year, and the ensuing missions to follow. So lots to look forward to.
Dr. Jessica Watkins, congratulations on this accomplishment. We thank you for being here and giving us your time. Have fun up there and safe travels back home.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes our AccuWeather portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from KMGH-TV.
Q.
Jessica, okay. Station, this is Jessica Crawford with KMGH-TV. How do you hear me?
I have you loud and clear.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking with us today, Jessica. I'm Jessica Crawford with Denver 7. So your home state of Colorado. First of all, I just want to hear about that feeling of being aboard that spacecraft, moving through space, you know, making it on the way to the ISS.
Yeah, so I believe your question was about what is was it like being in space? Was the space environment like? And you know, for me, the one of the coolest parts, one of the most fun things, most challenging as well, since getting up here, was getting used to kind of thinking about the world in 3D, learning to move in 3D. And it's interesting, you know, your brain kind of adapts. It's been amazing to see how quickly myself and my crewmate Bob Hines, who is also a space rookie, how we've learned to translate using our hands and learn to think in 3 dimensions. So it's been really fun.
Okay. Can you talk about just the gravity of this being kind of a test run for a return to the moon and how that's so important in moving us forward in space exploration?
Yeah, absolutely. So the International Space Station, where we are now, is a national laboratory, and we use that national laboratory platform to do lots of demonstrations and of both technology and science, as well as research on the human body, to help enable us to understand what steps we need to do and how we are going to apply and adapt the processes that we already have in place for our future exploration, and particularly the moon and eventually onto Mars. So a lot of the kind of robotic exploration that we do, I'm looking across, I'm standing in the Columbus module right now, and I'm looking across to the GEM, the Japanese module, and I see two robots that are free floating and finding their way. And so even that kind of robotics test is going to help enable us in the future with our ability to use robotics to help us with our operations. So I'm looking forward to the outcomes of this AstroBee operation here across the way. But in general, lots of applications here on ISS. The science that we do on ourselves as humans, understanding the long-term effects of spaceflight and long-duration spaceflight on the human body, as well as the robotics and the thinking about the radiation protection as well. So there are lots of applications that we're doing here that will take us forward into the future.
Jessica, did you take anything personal, special with you up there?
Yes, so of course I brought plenty of photos of my family and friends, those kinds of personal effects. But then also for me, I'm a geologist by trade, and so of course I had to bring up some rocks with me.
That's awesome. Can you talk about the anticipation of doing a spacewalk?
Yes, so we currently have a couple of spacewalks currently scheduled for towards the end of our mission. Those two spacewalks will be to go outside and upgrade the solar arrays that we have outside. We've actually already performed this type of EVA in different locations, and this will be upgrading a new solar array and installing a modification kit to enable that. And we have been trained. We do lots of training on the ground in our neutral buoyancy laboratory. So it's this our giant pool where we can don our spacesuits and perform our EVAs, train our EVAs underwater. So that has been a large part of our training. So we are ready and prepared and excited to go out the door if the opportunity comes.
Talk about something that has surprised you about your stay on the ISS.
You know, most things about this new environment are surprising. I think for me, the most surprising thing has just been getting used to floating and learning to kind of translate and think in 3 dimensions, use all of the volume, all of the space, climb on the ceilings. It's been really fun, but also challenging and surprising in its own way as well.
And can you tell us about some of the research you've been conducting?
Yes, absolutely. So we do lots of different kinds of scientific research on board here. So we do physical science, so looking at fluids and combustion science. We do biology, so looking at cell and plant and tissue growth. We have a experiment called X-Roots that's looking into plant root growth that will help enable us to provide options and solutions in the future when we look towards future exploration further into the solar system. We do lots of Earth and space science, which of course is near and dear to my heart, as well as human research. So lots of research to understand the impacts of long-duration spaceflight and the microgravity environment on the human body, again with future applications as well.
Can you give us a glimpse of life inside there? Like, what are you eating? What are you drinking? How do you sleep?
Yeah, we are honestly pretty spoiled up here. We have lots of amenities and access to lots of good food and things that help us relax. So we have. For our food, we have lots of choices that a whole team of people on the ground help put together for us. We have a food lab down at the Johnson Space Center that create and then package up all of our food for us. So lots of yummy options there. Most of our food we can either rehydrate, so we can add water to it, or we can stick it in a food warmer and it warms the food up. So we have options there as well as shelf-stable food. Living and sleeping, we each have our own crew quarters where we each have our sleeping bags, and that's where we sleep. It's pretty fun to sleep in microgravity. You just kind of curl up in your sleeping bag and then just float. It's actually a pretty neat sensation.
How cool. Have you had a favorite space meal so far?
Good question. I would have to say probably taco night, which is a good portion of the nights here. Everything tastes good in a tortilla.
That is so true. You're talking to some Colorado students next week. What's something that you want them to take away from that conversation?
Yeah, certainly. As I kind of put myself back in their shoes as a student in Colorado, I would just encourage them to dream big. You never know when those dreams may come to pass, and to really just continue to find something that they are passionate about and just pursue that relentlessly. Find mentors who will help you pursue it. Find opportunities that will help engage you in it, and just stay steady on that path.
Can you talk about the training that goes into preparing for a spacewalk?
Yes, absolutely. So we train at the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory in Houston, Texas. It is a kind of giant pool about 40 feet deep, I believe. And it has a mock-up of the entire outside of the International Space Station with all the handrails in the correct place and everything in the right orientation. And so we are able to don our spacesuits and go underwater in order to kind of mimic the microgravity environment as much as we can. And we can perform our EVAs, learn how to do EVA tasks, and kind of work through the processes and procedures for specific EVAs that we will be performing. And so that enables us to have a good understanding of what to expect when we get out the door. I'm told that the training is really super excellent, and once you're out there, it feels very similar to being in the NBL, with the exception of the fact that the Earth is at your feet.
Do you have any message to your fellow Coloradans, specifically maybe the people in the town of Lafayette?
Yeah, to everyone in Colorado and Lafayette in particular, just say hello and thank you so much for everything that you've done to help prepare me and encourage me and support me on this journey, and definitely take a piece of you with me and hope to represent you well.
So much for your time, Jess. Stay safe out there.
Thank you so much.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants from AccuWeather and KMGH-TV. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.